Hi guys, welcome to Mompreneur Space live show podcast where I interview inspiring moms from all around the world where they share their challenges and struggles being a mompreneur. I'm your host Kenneth Chu, and today's guest is none other than Christel Goh, who is the founder of Grow PR, which is Grow Public Relation. So in this episode, we will be talking about how to grow a business after being a mom, and also how she overcome her mompreneurship journey and her challenges and struggles that she faced. So without further ado, let's welcome Christel.
Hello, hi everyone. Hi, I'm Christel.
Hi Christel, welcome. Thank you for making time for my show, and I would say that this has been a really great chance for me to interview you, because when I first knew you, you were still a women entrepreneur, you were not a mom yet, and now you're a mom. So as you know, there's a tradition that every guest get to answer the question of the day before we can officially kickstart with the show. So is it okay for me? Are you ready to answer the question of the day before we can officially kickstart with the show?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, thank you, Christel. So the question of the day posted by the previous guest is, what are you creating right now? So spend some time to think about it while I go onto Facebook Live to see if we are live successfully, if our audio are good to go, and then I will come back to you, all right? So spend some time to think about it, and I'll come back to you. Okay, Christel, are you ready to answer the question of the day posted by the previous guest?
Yes.
Okay, share with us.
Okay, so I think on the topic of like what I'm creating right now, I'm working on like a book. I'm working on a book for startup founders. So because I mostly work with like startup founders to get their stories featured in media, so like mainstream publications, online publications. That's what PR is, right? So I'm basically working on this book, which is like a DIY solution that startup founders can get this book. They can learn how to draft a pitch. They can learn how to identify the right media to work with, and then to reach out to this media. So that's what I'm creating right now.
Thank you so much, Christel, for your answer to the question of the day. And definitely, I believe that this is really something that I felt that this question is really meant for you, because like, what are you creating now? And I know that you're writing a book, so really glad that you have shared with us and what you've been doing for this book. Really excited for this. So maybe to kickstart with the show, maybe you can do a short introduction of yourself. Share with us, where are you from? What are you currently doing? What are you currently working at? And also, I know that you're a mom of a beautiful daughter, of a baby daughter. So maybe you can do a short introduction of yourself. Where are you from? And do share with us.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Christel from Singapore. So I have a baby who is 14 months old now. She's going to be 15 months old soon. She's going to school next year, early part of the year. So we have just registered her for school. I'm also founder of Grow Public Relations. I don't know if you can see the background here. Yeah, Grow Public Relations. So at Grow Public Relations, what we do is that we really work with venture-backed startups and SMEs to build their reputations, to really create more awareness for these businesses, to take their visibility to the next level. So that's what we do at Grow Public Relations.
So Christel, can you share with us more what were you doing previously before you start your own business?
Okay, so maybe I can actually share how I started, because I really never had the intention of starting my own business before. So I have been working in public relations agency, as well as I worked in-house in like a corporate comms environment. So I've always been in PR and comms, but I never really had the idea of starting my own business before. But I guess in my previous job, I was kind of a little bored. Maybe my bosses would kill me if they hear me, but no. But anyway, I've left. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, my ex-bosses would maybe not be so happy with that, but I was kind of bored. Yeah. So I At that point, I was really quite passionate about like elder care, and I think it's still a very big part as well right now. So with elder care, really, I wanted to create a activity or a game to engage seniors, because there is really like a lack of materials or tools that's localized in this space, right? So I actually created this card game, and it's called Play Hwahi. So it's still available. I'm still selling the cards. It's just that I'm a little bit more focused on Go PR right now. So when I was actually doing that card game project, right, what happened was that I think there was quite a bit of publicity for the project. Because this is my like background, right? Like getting features, getting media, stuff like that. And because of that, there were like a couple of like small business owners that actually approached me to say, hey, can you do PR for my brand? So then I started freelancing or moonlighting while I was at my job. And then eventually I kind of left the job, but I actually quit my job twice. So the first time that I quit my job, my boss said, how about you do a part-time role with us? So I was working part-time. At the same time, I was taking on some of these projects. And then I think when the business was a little bit stable, a little bit more stable, then I decided to quit fully. And upon quitting, which was a really difficult decision, you know, right, Kenneth, because you once had like a very stable job as well. When upon quitting, right, I found out, I think the week after, that I was pregnant. So that was a surprise. Yeah.
Um, you were saying that before you quit, resign, right? You found that you are pregnant, right?
After I resigned, then like I found I was
So
pregnant.
you were doing your notice, right? Or you was
Yeah,
after.
I was like I think like 1 or 2 weeks after like I tendered, right, resignation, then like I found out that I was pregnant.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's really the timing, right? God's timing, making sure that, oh, okay. So after you have resigned and you started growth, is it? Is
Mm.
that how it's all started?
Actually, Grow PR was like I was kind of moonlighting, or
Mm.
like because I was already on like a part-time role at my company. So I was already running Grow PR on the side. So I think even like Jensen in the comments, I did Mushroom Kingdom, the work for Mushroom Kingdom when I was working part-time,
Mm.
right? I think they know this as well. And then only like when I found out I was pregnant, which was I think one 1 year plus, yeah, like 14 months ago, since no, sorry, no, I think maybe 2 years ago. two
Okay.
years ago, yeah.
Because
Then I found, yeah.
okay. So you're moonlighting while you are in your job already lah. Then
Yeah,
after that,
correct.
because you did that in advance, you have that confidence. So when you step out, it just come naturally that you continue to do what you have been doing. Just that you're now your own boss, you're doing the things. So what made you start to realize that this is the path for you?
Mm, even actually until now, I wouldn't be so sure to say this is the path for me, because I feel that I never know where I might be 10 years down the road, right? Maybe like 10 years down the road, I might be selling chicken rice or like something else,
Yeah,
right?
nobody
You
knows,
never
right?
know, right? You never know. But for now, I guess I enjoy what I do. I see that there's meaning in the work. I think that's very, very important.
Yeah.
And I see growth, which is what is exciting lah.
So is that the reason why you name your company Grow PR?
I think really because the whole idea behind the name, right, is to support startup companies, right? And for startup companies, what is most important is always about growing, right? It's really like babies, right? Like we're trying
Mm.
to grow. So that's the real reason behind the name Grow PR.
Okay. So why is that like the specific audience which is like startup? Is there a
Mm.
reason why you chose to? Because most PR will be aiming at all those big companies and stuff. Like why do you choose specifically startup?
When I was working in an agency before, so I was working with like a lot of different organizations. I did a lot of like public sector work, so government agencies. I also did like some private sector work. And then we did this account, which is for the action community for entrepreneurship some time back. So that was a really long time ago, like 12 years ago maybe, or 10 years ago, I can't remember. So that was at a time where like the startup scene was really not where it is today. And at that time when I was working on the account, it was very, very exciting to me because it was so new, it was so like exciting. There were so many things that's happening. Right. So at that point I realized, hey, I kind of enjoy this project, this account, but I didn't think that much into it. And then like after freelancing and after doing work for like some small businesses, it's very exciting to see the change that PR can bring to these young brands that is kind of not possible for the much bigger brands, right? Because when we do that work for the bigger brands, right, we are really like a drop in the ocean. You know, like there are so many marketing streams that they are already leveraging on, right? And when they do PR, it's just one of it. They can't track the effectiveness of it. You don't see like a huge, drastic change.
Yep.
Like for example, if a company has no publicity at all to having like a feature in Straits Times, right, or Mothership or something else, there is that big jump in terms of like, you know, awareness, traffic, which is just not the same if you're doing for like a very mature brand with like a lot of publicity. Yeah.
I really see why you are passionate about, and because you mentioned you left your previous job because it's a bit boring, it's getting boring, and that's why I think you choosing
Ex-bosses will kill me.
yeah, I guess I won't say it's boring. I would say that is you felt that you can do something more than that. Yeah, you can serve more people. Like you chose startup because you saw that impact, that transformation. With them having not much publicity, and because of one publicity or even a feature in the Straits Times, it helped them to catapult the business or catapult the awareness, and I maybe it comes from that satisfaction and fulfillment that even I believe that the startup will be grateful for you when you do that for them and they see that jump, like you mentioned, that jump, that awareness. People are talking about it. Even people are not talking about it, they would also be proud of it to share it with people that they have achieved a certain milestone, and it can be used as a marketing initiative also. Yeah. So that's why I see that it's more challenging because startup there's a lot of firefighting every time, a lot of unforeseen circumstances that will happen, and maybe last minute stuff that also kind of make you excited and want to really help them in any ways that you want. So thanks for sharing that, and also now I got a better picture of how growth comes about and what was your kind of the real reason why you left, despite knowing that you got pregnant after that. So how did that help you transiting into motherhood, like your business itself? How does it help you transit into motherhood, or it was challenging for you moving into motherhood?
Okay, I think it was, I mean, like for someone who has had a stable job for a very long time, right? And I've never been one to start a business, you know.
How long was
Like,
that? How long were you in corporate? Was that your like first job or?
yeah, it was no, it wasn't my first job. Like, but I was working maybe a total of like 8 years or so, yeah. So like in different jobs for like a total of 8 years. Actually, only two jobs that I'm very loyal. Yeah, just kidding. No, but anyway, yeah. So I've been in working for like maybe close to a decade, right? And then when for me to quit was very, very difficult because you are really leaving something that you know for the past decade or so, right? Like you know that this is the routine, right? I go to work, I do whatever my boss tells me to, I make them happy, and then okay, sometimes I'm not exactly the best employee, right? But you kind of know how to play the game, right?
Yep.
The corporate game. Then to sort of leave that was very, very difficult for me. But I have a friend who kind of like convinced me that like, hey, you know, he gave me this analogy, right? You are out in the ocean, like you're swimming to shore, and you're actually very, very close to shore already. But then you've been holding on to this log. The log is my job, lah. The log has been keeping you afloat for very, very long, right? But now the log is holding you back, that you really can't swim to shore because the log is holding you back. So why don't you just let go of the log, since you are so close to the shore and you know you definitely will be able to make it. So that was the analogy, and that actually led me to quit.
Wow.
But I did not expect to get pregnant, right? I mean, becoming pregnant then makes you feel, oh, you need a lot more stability in your life. How can you be starting a business when you're pregnant, right? Like when you have a young kid, that's crazy stuff, right? Yeah. So that was my thought, and I think that what made me guilty right after that, or like the first mom guilt instinct came in, was when my thought was that I didn't want to let my baby affect my work. Right. So that was my first thought, like, because I was thinking, okay, I was having, at that time, I didn't have any teammates that I could work with, right? So I was doing everything on my own. And then my perspective was that I didn't want to let my baby affect my work, because I had to make sure that I had projects and I could fulfill those projects, right? So then after that, immediately I had that like mom guilt, right? Like, how can you be thinking this way? Like, what is wrong with you, right? But I think after going through this, to my baby being like almost 15 months, made me really see that actually, if not for what I do, if not for Go PR, I would not have the kind of like freedom to be a mom.
And flexibility also.
I mean, like, if you look at my IG, you know Kenneth, right? Like,
Yeah.
every day is like I'm eating lunch with my baby.
I'm like seeing your baby growing up instead.
right. Yeah, like, so everything is about my baby, right? But I wouldn't get this if I was
in a corporate.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, now there's work from home, but I don't know, would I be able to work from home like 24/7?
Yeah, this is one of the beauty. That I'm glad you see it now, and you managed to pull it through, and you'll be able to see it now, because, imagine you're working for people. Your time is not your time. Your time is your boss's time. Your boss want you to do this, do that, and you know the PR scene. A lot of times, there's a lot of last minute. There's a lot of things to chase, and you know, as bosses, they will come and bug on you. How come this one not coming out? Because it's like the clients will have demand. But as for you, because you are dealing your clients by yourself, you can manage them. You call the shot, and your time is your time. So if you want to do it, you know that, okay, you can choose, like, okay, from 9 to 5, I'm going to do this. And then after that, I'll come back to my baby and take care of her and bring her to a stroll and all that. So you can call your own shot. But if you're working for someone, you are not able to. So that's one beauty. And how did you... So was that mom guilt still there, or you kind of dissolve it and embrace it?
I think maybe because firstly, I realized I'm not the kind of mom that needs to be my baby 24/7. So I like appreciate a break, you know. But at the same time, I also do things because I have so much time with her. Like I kind of see her every single day. Because I work at home, right? So I see her every single day. So I mean, I'm quite happy to go out for meetings, and stuff like that also. So I don't really feel it that much. I think sometimes when I'm really, really busy, and then she will just scream and come into the room like, then like sometimes I have to like turn her away and stuff like that. Then I do feel a little bit like, But I think it's not that big an issue, because I do have quite a lot of time with her.
Yeah. I think something you mentioned is, a lot of times the mom's guilt come because you don't have enough time. And that happens to a lot of working moms, from my observation in the past 14 years working in the parenting scene, working with mompreneurs. It's because of working moms, they couldn't have the time. But now when you're working from home, for those that are working from home mom, they have that time. But on the flip side, they do not know how to do with the extra time. And they find, oh, now I got too much time. So am I going to spend everything with my child, or should I do that? So like you mentioned, you identify that you are not the mom, and it's okay, not the mom that you want to spend like 100 or even more time or more than 50%. Like my wife, for instance, my wife, she have more, she's not the nurturing type. That does not mean that she's not a good mom. It's just that she find more fulfillment maybe from her bosses. She getting praises from them. She gets satisfaction from her work. Like for me, I'm more of a family man, so that's why I chose to work from home. I chose to start my own business. So I like even for yourself, you see that, and would you say that you have a support team? I mean, it's like it could be your family, it could be your husband, it could be the people around that is supporting, or you would say that you manage it, um, because you say that you see your daughter every day. So is that the time management part, or you have a team or both?
Yeah, I think it's like a factor of a lot of things, right? So definitely at home, like I think that I do have a very, very good support system. Firstly, when I'm working, my helper is really, really like top notch, right? I really have no complaints about her. So she's really, really good with Faith, my daughter.
Mm.
And my husband also works at home. So he's also like running his own business. That's why we have quite a lot of time at home together. But one thing that I realized after giving birth was that I have to grow PR.
Mm.
Yeah, which is something I never really thought about before that, right? I was just happy with like whatever projects that come in, and that was that. But after having like Faith, I realized that I needed to have people who could support in the work as well.
Mm.
So after Faith was born, that's where I started to explore like building Go PR as an agency and having a team. Yeah.
Why is that so? Like why that shift? Was that something that you realized that you have something to work for? You have a goal. You want to provide a better future for your daughter. Is
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the main thing started from like when I was having confinement, right? And then like I because I didn't really take maternity leave,
mm,
I had to jump straight into work. And it was also quite difficult, like having to juggle that, like the work plus feeding Faith, because I was still breastfeeding at that
mm,
time, feeding Faith, to all those things in between. So I realized that okay, I needed to get help in. And then somehow kind of like it evolved, yeah, I guess, from realizing that, I want to be able to provide a little bit more like a better life for her. That's one. And also maybe it could be like wanting to have something that I can show her when she
mm.
grows up, right? Like, hey, your mom built this from scratch, yo. Yeah, like to be able to show that maybe. And
Mm.
eventually maybe it could be something that I could pass on.
Mm-mm. Yeah, legacy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Then that would be quite exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally feel you, because that is also why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like why
Cool.
am I so passionate about empowering mothers to be entrepreneurs? Why am I passionate about championing women and all that? Because I see that this is something, because I have a daughter, I have a 12-year-old daughter, and she's growing up to be a fantastic young lady. Like you mentioned, I even thought of leaving this behind for her, because eventually she might get married, she become a mom, and she might lead the maybe the foundation of whatever I'm building, which I already kind of plan it, having set the legacy. Because knowing her and know how kind-hearted, how humanitarian she is, that's why I felt that I should spend a lot of effort building this. Who knows that she may not be the CEO to take over this business, but she most likely will be the founder for the foundation that is going to happen. So I really feel that what you're saying, and I would say that when you say that, right, when you want to leave something, there's a big smile on your face, and
Right.
it kind of feel that hey, something is blooming from you. You
Right.
really enjoy it, you really want to make it happen, and you have that belief that it's possible, because now you're from what I know, you are growing, and grow public relation is also growing. You have your team, and it's good to know that you're empowering a lot of people, especially startups, even small medium businesses. Because even for me, I was also very thankful that you helped me in when like last year to write about uh, to really promote what I'm doing, why am I so passionate, getting the interviews and all that. So that's why I can see that it helped me to gain that recognition. People are seeing me in the light, and people understand my story, and this is what I see that you are very good at storytelling and the founder stories, and that's why startup is very important why they are doing what they are doing. And you're doing a good job because I seeing a lot of thumbs up from a lot of people that is watching. We have like a lot of friends like Wendy Teo is in. We have Bindu. We have Lazy, and we have Jensen. We have a lot of your supporter that is tuning in. I just now saw a lot of thumbs up. So we have is it Ein? Yeah. So it's also tuning in. So coming to that, right? Now we know more about why you started the business and what motivates you, and especially being a mom, what was that transition like? So what if today you don't start running your own PR company? What do you see that you'll be doing?
If I didn't run Go PR, well, that's kind of like a weird thought, right? But yeah, I think I'd probably be working in a job somewhere. I'm not sure where, but I feel that one thing is that, you know, when I was working at KDF, and I think you probably feel that as well. You have like a lot of things to complain about. Like you complain about your bosses, you complain about your colleagues, you complain about the work. You have so many things to complain about. But when you're running your own thing, you kind of can't complain about anything,
Yep,
right?
you're right.
Yeah. So I feel that's one thing that I find is quite
So
interesting.
you misses working and complaining.
I mean, there's something about like that kind of, being
Dependent on.
like having like colleagues that you
Mm,
can complain
yeah,
with,
yeah, yeah.
versus like now not having anybody complain with. I mean,
Yeah,
if I go to, yeah, okay, I
I feel
can't
you.
complain, right? Yeah.
I feel you. That's why the entrepreneurship is a lonely journey.
Yeah.
That's why it's also very important to have friends like you who's running your own business. At least we can catch up over a chat to really share and in a way complain, but at the same time also gain support. That's why like-minded and also recently I've learned which is to gather your elite peers, people that can raise you up, can lift you up whenever you are down, especially as entrepreneurs. So like you mentioned, there are times when I was outside eating, I see people, colleagues gossiping about their bosses, chatting, what they are going to do after work. So definitely I misses all that. I believe that you misses all that also. But at the same time now you are having your own team. I believe that you will have that cohesiveness. You don't want that okay lah, maybe your team is like talking behind your back or whatever. But I believe that you will want to make it as a family, that everybody is on par. This is from day one that I knew you until now that you are someone with the heart. So in fact, I was thinking that maybe you might be doing social work. You might be helping the elderly because you have YE, right? So maybe you want to turn it into a social enterprise. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be something that you'll be running. So at the same time, while thinking about what if. So what was that moment? Was there a aha moment that you decided, okay, this is the thing, or you haven't that aha moment yet that this is the thing for you? Because that's how we talk about it. Was there that aha moment that tell you that okay, this is something that I decided to do and moving forward?
Hmm. I'm not exactly sure if this is the thing. I mean, of course, at this point, I won't give it up, right? Like I have clients, I have colleagues that I work with. I can't give it up
Hmm.
at any time soon. But um, I'm not exactly sure like if this is the thing that is for me, right? But at the same time, I do feel that like there are a lot of like signs or like things that point to it,
Hmm.
that I okay, maybe in the past there were certain things that made me realize, hey, it has come to fruition.
Hmm.
So a couple of things, like when I was working at agency, one of the like investors that I kind of knew, he asked me, so when are you going to start your own PR agency? And I was like, no, that's not for me. I'm not that kind of person. I'll be like happy working. So yeah, but now I kind of think back, I remember that moment. And then there was also a moment where like when I was kind of bored in my previous job and I was like thinking, okay, exploring like ideas that I wanted to do. And then I found like a couple of startups that I thought was very cool. And then I actually thought, hey, what if I could, support startups in marketing, like this could be a work that I could do. And that was like before GoPR started. But now, like
When you think
thinking
back,
back, yeah, I realized actually there were like all these things that like it's kind of funny, but yeah, there were all these things, yeah.
so coming to that, right? Because these are all the entrepreneurial tendency. If you really see that, it's because if you really because I've interviewed so many mompreneurs, right? A lot of entrepreneurs. Like now, today is 86 episode. So throughout all these episodes, I realized something, that there's always a tendency, because we in our corporate job we cannot get that fulfillment. We find that we can do more, or if we are thinking out of the box, we want to do something different. And because with that, we get that curious mind, or that thought of we can do more than what we are at that position. That's why we step up, even not willingly. Like for me, it's accidental. I got laid off. Then my client say, "Why not you start your own company?" And that's how I started. And now I've just celebrated my 6 year anniversary. So, and that is my longest employment in my own company. So like even for you, I would say that these are all tendency that put you through. And like you mentioned, like the investor himself or herself saw that in you, because they had walked through that path. They have seen so many people that walk through that, and they see that you are someone like a gem that can help other people, or the diamond that can shine eventually. So even for you, when you first start off, I have that sense that, because you have the heart, the first thing that you have the heart, you have the empathy for startup, because you really put in your home. I think more than 100%. I think those who are tuning in will be able to agree that whenever you do anything for them, you really, it's not really to earn money. You really want to help them, genuinely want to help them and lift them up, and really want to have that result, really want to help them to be visible. So this is the thing that I felt when I was working with you, when you helped me to get all the interviews. This was what I felt, that you were going an extra mile. It's not about the charges. It's about how you can help us to reach our objective, and that was it. So that was the thing that I felt, that you were meant to walk this path. And like for how long we do not know, but as of now, I can see that you're enjoying. You are living life with purpose. You even want to do it for your daughter, Faith. And I think moving forward, this is the drive, because you have the passion, you have the purpose, and now you have found a way to monetize, which is the profit. And last but not least, you have the last P, which I never not really told a lot of people, which is parenting. Because of your daughter, that's why it's driving you to do this. So having coming to that, right? So what would you think that is the common struggle for mothers who are stepping into business, or even for you? What is your biggest challenge as a mompreneur?
I think like for me, I'm very thankful that I like have a lot of support already. But I do know that like if I don't have the support that I have, I probably would not be able to do a lot of things that I can do. Right? Not just like work, but like also like having personal time and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think I mean especially when like the kids are so young, they kind of consume like everything, all your time. So I think that the challenge is being able to manage time, being able to be very disciplined in learning, right? Because fighting fires is one thing, and we can't keep fighting fires, right? If we want to grow the business. So I think in being able to learn and to be disciplined in learning, that is something that I think is something that I strive to do.
Mm.
Yeah.
But why do you talk about like learning, you have to be disciplined in learning. Just want to understand a bit more on that.
Right, right. I mean, for me, I feel that like business, there's a lot unknown, right? Like everything is an unknown. Like if let's say you're exploring different things, like for example, HR, or you're exploring something that's totally new, like sales or whatever. So I feel that it's a new frontier that we kind of need to explore, like as business people, right? So in that sense, um, it is up to us whether we are disciplined enough to take on the challenge of learning that specific trait or that specific skill set. Yeah, so I think that's where like the discipline comes in. Yeah, for me.
So it's really like consistently you need to keep on learning, because there's new things that you need. Like example, you want to build a team, you need to learn how to lead the team. You know how to dedicate. You know how to
Yeah,
let go your responsibility and really trust them and all that. So this is a learning phase to you, and it's
yeah,
consistent. And this is I I agree with what you just shared. Because entrepreneurship, you cannot be everywhere. But one
mm,
thing you can do is you can keep on learning to be a better version of yourself every time. So thanks for sharing that. And also I believe that is one of the biggest challenge, and discipline, time management. And for you, what advice would you share with mothers who wanted to start business?
advice. I think for moms who maybe are like in jobs, right? Like, do you have your own job? I wouldn't suggest that you quit your job right away. I think what really, really worked for me and make the transition very smooth, was that I was like freelancing or like working on a side hustle for the longest time. And because of that, when I quit, right, I actually was making more than what I did in my day job.
Mm.
And that was what led me to quit. And I wouldn't dare to do it if like I wasn't doing that, right. So yeah, I feel that like I think a lot of times, I'm sure you get this a lot as well, right, Kenneth? Like people will say, oh, I want to start this, I want to start that, or I want to do this, I want to do that, but nothing ever happens. Like they tell you all these things, but nothing ever happens. So I mean, just do it, right? Just do it, but don't quit your job.
Mm. Yeah, but having said that, there are people who are thinking, oh, there are, like, how to start a side gig when I really have no time, I don't have
Yeah.
money to start, and all that,
Mm.
that little voices that's speaking to them. So does
Right.
does that happen to you?
I mean, personally, I'm not someone who thinks or like I mean like personality
Mm.
wise, I'm not someone who is like very structured, right? So I don't go like very much into details. I just, if I want to do something, I'll just do it. I won't think too much into it. Like if it doesn't work out, I'll be like, oh my god, I have to go and figure this thing out, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm not someone who thinks a lot into that it cripples me. But yeah, I do feel that like people have the tendency to do that. I mean, it could be good in certain ways, right? Like to
Mm.
to analyze and stuff like that. But I think if it affects you, and your ability to take action, then it's an issue.
I think you put out a very strong point that I heard from like all the past mompreneur. They say that don't really think, because when you think and versus the actual doing is totally two different world, because anything could happen when you do, but the only thing that you mentioned is you need to figure out how to solve that problem. For example, when you do it, when something come out and happen, you need to quickly resolve it, and that is only by doing then you can gain the experience. It's not by thinking, and things will happen and you'll be able to resolve things, because there are things that you will not be expecting anyway. And that's why life it is, be it life or be it business, there's a lot of things that is unexpected. But the only thing that you can do is how to be more resourceful and solve that thing immediately. And you really point it out very very clearly to people. And the other thing you talk about, personality. Do you think that personality plays a part in entrepreneurship for you personally? Especially you've seen so many startup. Do you think that personality plays a part?
Um, Can you hear me, Kenna?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good. Can you hear me?
I think the connection is a bit, the connection is a bit wonky, but okay.
Okay.
I can hear you. I think I was speaking to someone recently, and he said that, you know, like a lot of entrepreneurs or people in marketing, you would notice that they are like, there's four personalities, right? Dynamic, and then I can't remember, emotional or something. Yeah, so like people who are entrepreneurs, especially in marketing, a lot of them are very dynamic, right? They like have a lot of things to say. They are very a bit like ego. I mean, maybe that's us lah, right? Yeah, but like we have a lot of things to say, and then, you know, we're not afraid to like confront and stuff like that. And I think people have this impression that this is like a good trait, right? Like to have. But at the same time, I feel that because people are of a certain trait, like for example, because I'm kind of this way, right? I don't really think too much. It's also a bad thing, because then in terms of planning and stuff, I'm not the most detailed, which is super important when we're running businesses, right? So I do feel that the different traits and the different personalities bring a different strength and skill set to entrepreneurship. It's just that we then have to counter or work to be able to overcome the weaknesses, but use our strengths to the advantage. Yep. It sounds very personal development-ish.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Entrepreneurship, is a journey of personal development, and that's why I went into educating people. I went into mentoring people and coaching people, because it's about developing. If I'm not wrong, it should be Yelf Ecker. It's like, how you do anything is how you do everything. So this could be a quote from one of my mentors. So because how you do anything is how you do everything, right? Even in life, how you deal with life, how you manage life is the reflection of how you manage your business. So if you are sloppy in your life, you will be sloppy in your business. If you are a learner in life, you're also a learner in business. So this is something I've learned throughout my 6 years of entrepreneurship, is that like you mentioned, it's always constantly learning, but I'm always constantly learning how to be a better human being, a better person. Because by being a better person, I can be a better leader, I can be a better communicator, I can be a better speaker, I can be a better visionary. So like you mentioned, for you are more, in fact, in business, there's 3 H that you need in the team or in the business, which is, I don't know whether you heard before, which is hustler, hacker, hipster. So sometimes we play the role of these two. Like for me, I'm a hustler and a hipster. So when you talk about hustler, it's the one that's always going out, reaching out to people. It's a natural human connector. That means we connect with people very easily. We people will be attracted to us. And a hipster is basically someone like a marketer. We are always very vibrant, attracting people to us. We are not the one that is going out to people. So I'm both the hipster and the hustler, but I'm more of the hustler. But like for me, I will need someone who's a hacker, who's like you mentioned, someone who is very detailed into processes and all that to help me in the business. So that's why for startup, if you look at the startup scene, right, there's always these 3 roles that they are always juggling and finding, so that you can have the best team, or what we call the power team, to really run the business. Like for you, that's why when you talk about team, this is where I'm thinking on that. So I hope that the listener and the viewers will be able to gain something from what you shared, and also the 3H, which is the hustler, hipster, and hacker. Okay, so time really flies, and I really learned a lot about you, although we have been communicating, been chatting, catching up, and also, but I think I know a bit more about your history, about where you come from, and what were you passionate about, and what was the moment, the struggle that you have as a mompreneur. So being a women entrepreneur before and being a mompreneur, what would you say the biggest difference is?
I think the biggest difference is time. Definitely. Yeah, because after having like a kid, then you realize that, you know, your time just shrinks to so little. Yeah, so and the for me, the good thing is now that, my daughter sleeps like very early. But I guess as she grows older, then that won't be the case anymore, right?
In
But
fact, it will not like. In fact, they will sleep. I mean, as long as sleep pattern is there,
okay.
just be sure. If not, you can always find my friend Zoe. She's a sleep expert. So thanks Christel for sharing. And also now it's your turn to share with people how they can get connected with you, because you share a lot about PR, and I believe that there's a lot of listeners that are listening, like mompreneurs, people starting business, or they are thinking of starting a business. So PR is something that I would also suggest to them to look into that. And especially for you, you're coming out with your new book, upcoming book, which is to teach even solopreneur or newbies how they can get themselves seen, and also how can they get connected with you.
Right. Okay. So I mean, like, if people are keen to find out about PR, they can visit my website at growpublicrelations.com. So GROW, publicrelations.com, or they can connect me via LinkedIn. My name Christel Goh. Yeah. So yeah, I think those are the main two ways that people can reach out.
Yes. Thank you, Christel. And for those who wanted to get connected with Christel, you can always go to the description and you'll be able to find, because I've already stated it there. So you can connect with her through there. If not, you can always leave a message in here. I'll be able to reach out to you and connect you with her. So last but not least, Christel, now is your time for you to share, to ask the question of the day out to the audience and also to the next guest. So are you ready with your question of the day?
Okay. I think I had it, but I kind of like forget
No
forgot what
problem.
it is. Okay, I guess my question, would be let me think.
Yeah, it could be anything about motherhood. It could be about the business, or it could be about PR, which is something that you're passionate about. That you could post it out to the next guest, because the next guest is a mompreneur.
Okay.
So yep.
Okay. My question is this: which do you think is more difficult? Raising a child or building a business?
That's good. So which is more difficult, is it? Okay, more difficult. Right, raising the child
or building a business?
Okay, that I'm very very interested. Or which is more difficult, raising a child or
building a business?
Building a business. Okay, so the question of the day posted by Christel is, which is more difficult, raising a child or building a business? So this question goes out to the next guest, and also for the audience who are tuning in, you can let us know in the chat what will be your answer to this question of the day posted by Christel, which is more difficult, raising a child or building a business? So thank you, Christel, once again for sharing. And what would be your last advice for mothers who wanted to who are sitting on the fence thinking, should I start a business, should I not start a business? What would be your last advice for them, Christel?
I think they should just do it.
Thank you, Christel. That is really, really a great advice, and this is something for all entrepreneurs, if not just for mompreneurs, is to really start, because by only starting, you'll be able to know whether it works or not. So and definitely you can learn along the way. If not, you can always tune in. So maybe I would be doing a shout out because this coming Saturday on the 25th of September, I'm organizing a Momprenneurship workshop, and it's from 9 to 6 p.m. And Christel is one of the speakers, and she will be sharing with you how you can get into the top tier media, right, Christel?
Yes.
So and this is something that is going to be very, very useful. And for those who are mompreneurs, even you're not mompreneur, you're a women entrepreneur, you can always come in. And for those who are interested, you can always drop a comment, drop in the chat and let us know. And in this episode, I'm giving away 5 general pass to 5 lucky winners. So you can just drop it. There's a link. There should be a link that you can see somewhere on the screen, and grab it before it's gone. And once again, thanks, Christel, for making time and all your golden nuggets, and how you build a business after becoming a mom, how you grow your business after being a mom. So thanks for sharing all that, and I believe that our audience would have a lot of golden nuggets, a lot of tips that they can go to and they can learn from. So thank you everyone, and thanks for those who are tuning in to Mompreneur Space live show. I'm Kenneth here signing off with Christel. Thank you very much, and I see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Kenna.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.